Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show, presented by GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering the NBA playoff games that happened this past weekend. We'll also be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. We'll also be discussing the effects of the NFL draft, and make sure that you guys stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into our dating horror stories for the week. Before we start, I'd like to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from the viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets right on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show. Hello, Tate. How are you doing today?
Happy Monday, Miss
Happy
Faith.
Monday.
You got multicolors going on here
Yes.
today.
Very summery vibes today.
Yes. I'm kind of colorful today. I like
Yeah,
this
you
color.
got purple on today. You look nice.
What is this color? This isn't
That's
really
purple.
purple.
That is
Kind of like
purple.
kind of like eggplant or something like that. I don't quite know what you
Eggplant
call
is
it.
purple.
There are levels. That's like saying Carolina blue is blue.
But it is blue. It's a level of blue, so you have a level
Okay,
of
then.
purple on.
Okay, then. I cannot see if you're going to come with that logic, then I got no fight back then. Because then, if you're like Carolina blue and sky blue is just blue. It's just a
I mean,
phase
there's
of
different
blue.
shades of blue, but it's all blue, you know?
Boy, are you fun to talk with? My shirt is mauve. Who cares?
It's purple.
I love it. So, talk to me. Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I had a very good weekend. I feel a lot better than I did on Friday. I think what it was is just I inhaled so much dirt and pollen from cleaning out the patio that I got sick from it. So I feel great now. Yesterday my boyfriend had another pop-up, so I went to that.
Gotta explain what a pop-up is, remember?
Currently my boyfriend is working with a guy who is actually on this season of Top Chef, but he's going to be opening up a restaurant in August. And so right now they're doing pop-ups at like different places where they have like a set menu and they do specials and just to like kind of put their restaurant name out there before they open. So just I got coffee and food. It was at a coffee shop yesterday. It was the cutest little coffee shop too. And there was an art show.
Anything,
It was great.
anything special on the food?
So they did like brunch kind of items yesterday, and they had this really good like take on avocado toast, which I love avocado toast, but it was like more of like an Asian fusion avocado toast. Like it had like chili oil and like pickled onions and things on it, and it was so good. It was delicious.
Excellent. Now,
Yeah.
for me, see, food makes me happy. So this
Hmm.
this was a weekend of food for me.
Yeah.
I had some friends come in that have come in from Ireland and the UK. So we've been spending time with them. And so we've been going out to restaurants and having lots of dinners.
Hmm.
The first night we went to, I think it was Friday night, we went to a seafood restaurant. And that was all. Seafood in Portugal is always awesome.
Hmm.
But the following day on Saturday, we went to a Portuguese restaurant that had as fado as the music. That's kind of like the music of Portugal.
Hmm.
We had a really nice lady that was singing and everything. This place is known for its seafood,
Hmm.
but I decided I want a steak, and they had a
Hmm.
T-bone steak on there. I'm like, Shh, let me
Let me test
you
this
know
out.
reach out to my my inner American, get me a T-bone steak. Faith, this was not an American steak at all.
I mean,
It was
no.
funny. Okay, first off, it's a weird thing to say. One of the absolute best flavored steaks ever. It was super tasty. Also, maybe the worst steak I've ever had in my life. All at the same time. I know that sounds weird, right?
Yeah.
Seasoned to perfection. The only problem would be you take your knife, you take your fork, and you start cutting, and you start cutting, and you start cutting. And it was so tough.
Oh, no. Was it well done?
No. It was medium. Rare? It was medium rare. But it was such a tough steak. I think this steak had to be like 400 years old. It was so tough. I asked my waiter to get me a sharper knife. And I started cutting and cutting. And there was parts of it like...
Listen, they said you was going to get a workout with that steak.
Faith, I only ate like half of my steak because my knife couldn't cut all of it.
They're like, this American's ordering a steak. We have to make sure they work out before taking each bite.
I don't know if that was, it was like, I don't know if that was cow, if it was Cape Buffalo. That sucker was tough. I did not realize a steak could be that tough.
Oh, gosh.
You know, you chew on it and it's like, tastes really good, but you can't chew on something 235 and a half times before you swallow. And that's kind of where I was at. I was like, man, this is just way too much work. So I had one of the best and worst steaks all at the exact same time ever.
Guess what I had for dinner last night? I'll make you jealous.
Talk to me.
I had McDonald's for dinner last night.
Ooh. Okay,
so
ladies
good.
and gentlemen. I know some of you are like, ooh, gross, McDonald's. No. McDonald's.
That's like my guilty pleasure. I love McDonald's.
Did I ever tell you about the McDonald's in Portugal?
Yeah. It's like really fancy.
It's like the nicest McDonald's in the world. It's
you don't get that here in America. You get
it's 3 floors. It has like 15 chandeliers. I mean, it is just amazing. But you can't go wrong with McDonald's. And because I don't eat McDonald's very often, being a former chunky boy, let's just say. Man, but no, McDonald's. I don't get tired of McDonald's. It is so nice.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate it. It's one of those things with McDonald's though is you can love McDonald's, you just can't love McDonald's. Like you can't be going to McDonald's 5 days a week.
No, because that's a quick way to gain a bunch of weight. Believe me, because that happened to me.
That's a way to get the booty fuel injected. You'll be have a big old.
That happened to me one time. You can't have 3/4 pounders a week and think nothing's gonna happen to you.
Yeah, you cannot do that. You bulking up for the NFL Combine at that point.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you are not going to like my buddy Steve. He loves McDonald's like I do, and Steve was always a small guy, but he started hitting at McDonald's more and more and more. And you the weight will come on. It's hard to give up.
Yeah.
And I remember some celebrity said nothing tastes better than being skinny.
I disagree with that.
See, there are some times I just want to hug you, and this is one of those moments because I'm thinking
I love food. I would probably be a lot thinner if I didn't like food as much as I do.
If you could give me a Big Mac with some fresh hot fries, the fries from McDonald's, if you pull them right from the oil, throw some salt onto them and throw them to me, there's nothing better. And then give me a big old wedge of cheesecake. Cancel Christmas.
Alrighty.
All right, let's dive into this.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the NBA playoff games that happened this past weekend. And we're first going to be starting off with the Lakers and the Nuggets. This story is credited to Yahoo Sports. So the Lakers stave off elimination, snap 11-game losing streak to the Nuggets. Let Game 4 be a lesson to all. Nobody beats LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers 12 times in a row. For the first time since December 16th, 2022, the Lakers defeated the Denver Nuggets, winning 119-108 on Saturday to stave off elimination in the first round. They still remain down 3-1 with the series heading back to Denver. Game 5 is scheduled for today at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. The Lakers also made a breakthrough simply by building a double-digit lead and then not losing. All three of their losses in the series so far had seen them go up by at least 10 in the first half, lead at halftime, and then get absolutely ripped apart in the third quarter on their way to a loss. They lost by as much as 11 points and by as little as 2 points, but all three were completely demoralizing against an opponent that swept them in the Western Conference Finals last season. So, what is this? The same movie that you've seen over and over again?
It is.
Is it?
This is okay. You know that final scene where you finally killed the bad guy and everyone's crying and they're hugging and we finally did it. We did it. We killed Jason. Then he dives out of the water and grabs.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the reason why this is that case. First off, let's talk about the Lakers. The Lakers finally, one game out of a full dozen. They went 1-12 since 2022 against the Denver Nuggets, losing the exact same way every single time, which is brutal. It's, if they kept figuring out new ways of beating us, it'd be different. But it's like rinse and repeat. That's just the way it is. So, and also the Lakers had some help. Jamal Murray had a strained calf muscle, so he couldn't perform as well as he traditionally does. So he struggled shooting, which then that really helped the Lakers. So Murray's a big part of the reason why that third quarter loss so many times have gone away because of Jokic and Murray. Murray having a calf issue made it so that the Lakers could hold on to that lead. They still have not beaten a fully healthy Denver Nugget team. That's the first thing. Second thing is that scares me, and this is the reason why I say it's the same, could be the same movie, is no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. Ever. They don't come back from it. And what tends to happen a lot of times, and this is what I'm worried about, especially in this situation, when it took you 12 tries just to get one win, and you were trying not to get swept, so you're putting everything in it, and then you finally win, what do? Oh my goodness, man. Finally we beat them. Woo! Girl, I'm glad we didn't get swept. So that next game, the intensity level traditionally falls off. You can see how, it's kind of like, okay, we accomplished something. We at least have our pride intact. And that's why they call it a gentleman's sweep. A sweep is a 4-0, just blow them off the court. But the gentleman's sweep is 4-1, where the last ditch effort by the team to get one win so they don't get swept happened. But so then the next game,
you feel like the Denver Nuggets are going to demolish them again, is what you're saying.
Well, yes, but no.
Mm,
If you told me that Murray was 100% healthy,
mm-hmm,
I would say yes. The
mm-hmm,
Nuggets are going to blow the doors off of the Lakers when they go to Denver.
mm-hmm,
But I'm keeping hope alive here because Murray is questionable for game 5.
mm-hmm,
And I would, let me tell you, if there's a case, if the Lakers could go into Denver and take game 5, I know no team has ever came back, but then pressure starts to be mounted on Denver at that point to close
mm-hmm,
them out. So seeing where this team, like you don't question LeBron James, you don't question Anthony Davis. Those are not the guys, Anthony Davis was the key to this thing. On offense and defense. LeBron does LeBron things. That's not the issue.
mm-hmm,
It's the other players. It's the D'Angelo Russell. It's the Austin Reeves. It's the Rui Hachimura's of it.
mm-hmm,
Those are the guys that you worry about having that letdown after that big win of finally, oh man, we didn't get swept.
mm-hmm,
So that's when players tend to come up a little small,
mm-hmm.
which then that kind of worries me quite a bit there. So I'm hoping that Murray being injured, maybe that helps the Lakers, but
Mm-hmm.
most likely, I feel like it's going to be a gentleman's sweep with
Mm-hmm.
the Nuggets taking them out. We're gonna let's roll to the next one because we can knock that one out kind of quick.
Yeah. So the other game that happened was the Timberwolves and the Suns. So the Timberwolves outlast the Suns to finish sweep, and the Minnesota coach Chris Finch leaves with a knee injury. And this story is credited to Yahoo Sports also. So Minnesota star Anthony Edwards noticed early in the third quarter that the Phoenix Suns switched up their defense, playing him one-on-one most of the time instead of using the double teams for the first half. The budding superstar took that as a challenge. He was like, you've got to beat us, Edwards says, and I showed them. Edwards scored 31 of his 40 points in the second half. Karl Anthony Towns added 28, and the Timberwolves pulled away late to beat the Suns 122-116 on Sunday night and sweep the first-round playoff series. The franchise first playoff series win in 20 years came after coach Chris Finch left the game late in the fourth quarter after an inverted collision with Wolves guard Mike Conley. The team said he had a ruptured patellar tendon in his right
Patella
knee.
tendon. That's right above your. That's the like.
It's unfortunate.
It's extra bad. You want to know why?
It's so unfortunate.
When you rupture the patella tendon, you actually have to have that leg fixed in place, so it can't even move. So patella tendon and a ruptured patella tendon sucks.
Yeah.
You're not even playing though. You're on the sideline.
That's what I'm
coaching.
saying. That's why I was like, that's so unfortunate. You were just standing there.
You're just hanging out.
Oh gosh.
Just taking it all in. My team is beating y'all like y'all stole something.
Gosh.
And then snap, crackle, and pop.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That's so unfortunate.
Okay. First off, couple of things I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. This dude is balling. Anthony Edwards he's no longer a star. Anthony Edwards is now a superstar.
Mm.
He's coming out in the playoffs and dominating the team. At the beginning of the year, a lot of us thought was going to just cakewalk through the season.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they put all those guys together for the Suns, and you're like Brooker, Beal, Durant, and it's like, why even have the season this year?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a joke. I mean, they're just, how can you do this? And you look around, and the thing that comes to mind, the question I ask anyone is this. Kevin Durant is so talented, maybe the most or one of the most talented basketball players in history. But my question is, has there ever been a player who's been given more who has achieved less? You look at when he was in Oklahoma City, having Russell Westbrook and James Harden and himself, and just pathetic. They were a good team. They made it to the finals once, but never reached the mountaintop. You look at when they yes, he went, he the only time he's ever really won when he went to an all-world 70-win team, Golden State Warriors, and then they won a couple championships then. If he doesn't go to possibly one of the greatest teams in the history of basketball, he may not have anything. He goes to Brooklyn. They load him up with James Harden and everything else they've given him. And it was first round exit after first round exit, disappointment after disappointment. So he gets out of Brooklyn. He goes to the Phoenix Sun. And it's like, hey, we're gonna put Booker, Durant, Bradley Beal. We're gonna put all these guys together and create a super team. And your super team cannot even win one game in the playoffs. One. Not one game. They got swept, beat down, not even competitive against Minnesota. First time really being in the playoff, Minnesota Timberwolves destroyed them. Again, has there ever been a player who's been given more who has done less? I mean, he's been given so much and achieved so little with what he's been given. It's a disappointment. This is an outright disgrace for a season for the team, considering expectations for some was not just win in the playoffs, but win the championship and dominate. And it was far from that. It's just flat out disappointment. So that's where I just wanted to touch on that one. Absolute disappointment.
Well, there you go.
Can you tell how I feel about this one? Can you tell I feel a little disappointed?
Oh gosh. Alrighty guys, well with that we're going to take our first break, and when we come back we're going to be talking about, surprise surprise, the Dallas Cowboys. So make sure you guys stick around and we will be back in a minute.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the NBA playoff games that happened this past weekend, and now we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. But before I do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. We get a number of questions from the viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show, so you should do it.
Excellent.
Alrighty. So, Dallas Cowboys, baby.
I love the way you said that. The Dallas Cowboys, baby. Yeah, that's...
Oh.
I like it. Okay.
Okay, so our first story comes from CBS Sports. So Dallas uses nearly every pick to revamp the offensive line front seven. If the Dallas Cowboys are going to make a fourth consecutive playoff trip next season, they need to ace the 2024 NFL Draft. They lost 8 of their own players in free agency, tied for the third most won offseason in Cowboy history. 5 of those losses were starters: running back Tony Pollard, center Tyler Biadasz, left tackle Tyron Smith, defense end Durance Armstrong, and defense tackle Jonathan Hankins. Those losses occurred because Dallas wasn't able to re-up quarterback Dak Prescott, who led the NFL with 36 touchdown passes in 2023, and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who led the NFL with 135 catches in 2023 to long-term extensions prior to free agency. Doing so would have enabled the Cowboys to spread those caps hits out more evenly across the future seasons. They have signed 2 external free agents this offseason: 32-year-old Pro Bowl linebacker Eric Kendricks and 28-year-old journeyman running back Royce Freeman. After being outmuscled in their 48-32 playoff loss against the Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys focused on getting stronger along their offensive line and in their front seven. Their first 4 picks addressed those areas, and Dallas finished the draft with linemen on both sides of the ball. The mission was to get bigger and stronger, and the Cowboys did just that. So that's our first story about the Cowboys.
Okay. Faith?
Yes.
Something's up. Something is up. I'm telling you this right now. It feels like a surrender without surrendering. That's what it feels like to me.
So you're saying
I could be
not
wrong.
all in anymore?
No, I don't think the Cowboys are all in. I think they're all out. These moves today made me believe the Cowboys are going to move on from Dak Prescott.
Oh,
these are not the moves of a team that wants to make, that is like, hey, we have our franchise quarterback. We want to make sure he has the weapons he needs. What do we need to win now? When you look around and you say, we lost 8 major players. One of them is an 8-time Pro Bowler in Tyron Smith. Our lead running back is gone. Our center's gone. Our defensive, one of our top Armstrong, one of our top defensive ends are gone. One of our defensive tackles, Hanky, is gone. And you're saying, hey, we signed 2 free agents. That's it. After hearing, Dallas, are you all in? Are you all in? Dallas is looking around and saying, we do not want to get up under this whole salary cap issue with Dak Prescott having $40 million dead money hit. So if the Cowboys were serious about signing Dak Prescott for the future, you would have signed Dak Prescott before free agency so that you wouldn't lose 8 players from your team, which is one of the most in the NFL. they didn't go out and sign a bunch of free agents to replace the 8 players they lost. That's a team that's saying, you know what? We need to be cap responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's not a total rebuild. I kind of feel like it's a retooling.
Mm-hmm.
These are retooling moves. These are the draft picks for the future, not for win at all costs, be
Mm-hmm.
all in for the Cowboys. If you ask me, Dallas Cowboys, they're all in, and this is what they did for the offseason, I would give it a flat out F
Mm-hmm.
for failure. But if you told me the Dallas Cowboys are retooling and building for the future and preparing to move on from Dak Prescott, I would give this an A+ draft and an A+ offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So none of these moves, when you look around, it is, hey, we want to strengthen our offensive line and our defensive line. Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma, great choice. Frontline defense and Marshawn Kneeland from Western Michigan. Had to look him up. Didn't know a lot about him before, but he's a guy, strong pass rusher, decent against run stop, great person to work with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Moving on to Cooper Beebe from Kansas State. Again, interior line strengthening. Moving on, bringing in a linebacker out of Notre Dame, and then focusing on getting some depth. They went with Carson, the cornerback out of Wake Forest. And then also in the 6th round, finally in the 6th round, they drafted a wide receiver, meaning putting depth at wide receiver, not a starting wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
This is a wide receiver that won't see a lot of time, but preparing just in case there's injuries. As a player, as a developmental player, this is a situation where I feel like Dallas was setting it's kind of like, we need to stock our pantry. We're not preparing for a dinner party that's tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way it looked to me. These are all players that will contribute for the Dallas Cowboys. Some will contribute this year, but a lot more of them will contribute next season.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like these players are players for the future, not a team that says they're all in for this year. Don't do a draft like this.
Mm.
I think it's a smart draft. I think this is, if you're saying, you know what, we're not going to sign Dak unless we get a hell of a discount.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start preparing for the future with Trey Lance instead of Dak Prescott. Then these are all smart moves. They're gonna get from up under the cap issue or the $40 million cap hit with Dak this year. They'll have about another 35 to 40 million next year, but then they're free and clear. And then they start addressing the Micah Parsons and the CeeDee Lambs of the world. I love this draft if that's their move.
Mm-hmm.
If their move is, we're going to plan for the future and Trey Lance is our future quarterback, this is the last year, unless Dak does something amazing, because this is going to be, the fact is they didn't even go out and get a running back at all. I thought at least a late round pick on a running back, a 4th or a 5th round pick on a running back, and they didn't even do that. Means, hey, Dak, Mike McCarthy, we're putting it all on the line. We're gonna rely on you this year, Dak.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go as far as you take us, and if you don't take us, we're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
And So it's put up or shut up for Dak, I feel like. Also, for Mike McCarthy, the coach as well. I would be a little nervous if I'm Mike McCarthy looking at this because they're planning, they're restocking the shelves, preparing for a long winter. Where when you look at what the Philadelphia Eagles did, the Philadelphia Eagles made moves that's going to impact this year. This year, when I look at the draft overall performance and I look at the NFC East, I have the Dallas Cowboys behind the Eagles, not ahead of the Eagles. So I got the Eagles in first, Dallas in second, the Commanders slightly behind them, and I have no clue what the New York Giants are doing. The Giants needed to address the quarterback position, and they did not do that. They actually went and got another weapon, wide receiver. The Giants made me scratch my head on that one. So, all right. So, and then this all rolls right into the next thing we're talking about.
Speaking of running backs, so this story is also credited to Yahoo Sports. So Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys are moving closer to a reunion. The Dallas Cowboys have not drafted a running back through 3 rounds of the 2024 NFL Draft. That's leaving the door open for a reunion with Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones acknowledged this week that he's interested in bringing back the 28-year-old Elliott, who played last season with the New England Patriots after spending the first 7 years of his NFL career with the Cowboys. Jones did like Texas running back Jonathan Brooks, but the Carolina Panthers selected him 46th overall, 10 spots ahead of the Cowboys' second-round pick. Dallas has 4 more picks remaining, numbers 174.
No, they don't. This is over the weekend, so they've already done their draft.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
So I was just helping you out there to let you finish that sentence there. Go ahead.
My bad. Sorry. Okay. Elliott and his agent met with the Cowboys earlier this week to talk about coming back to Dallas. Jones said he believes Elliott is still capable of being an NFL starter. There's an opening in the Cowboys running backs room after Tony Pollard left in free agency to sign with the Tennessee Titans. Rico Dowd, Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughns, Malik Davis, and Snoop Connor are all currently under contract. Elliott played all 17 games for the Patriots in 2023, recording 642 rushing yards on 184 attempts with 3 touchdowns. He also caught 51 passes for 313 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jones isn't committed to bring back Elliott just yet. That decision will be made after seeing how the final 4 rounds shake out, but considering the inexperience outside of Freeman on their running back depth chart, a reunion seems in order to solidify the position.
When I say that the Dallas Cowboys running backs are Snoop, Royce, and Deuce, that just sounds funny, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Snoop, Royce, and Deuce. That's their running back core. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have been against the Dallas Cowboys bringing Ezekiel Elliott back. Mm-hmm. Faith, you looking at me here? Mm-hmm. Changed my mind.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God. Write it down right now, guys. Tate has changed his mind.
Here's the reason. Here's the reason why. Free agency happened, and there was a lot of great running backs in free agency, and Dallas didn't touch them. Mm-hmm. Speak. And I'm like, okay, they're going to go out and get them a young rookie running back this year. They're going to go out and bring in Brooks from Texas or the running back from Michigan. They're going to go out and get a running back. They didn't draft a running back at all. 0. They brought in Royce Freeman, and I'm like, okay. So when I look at what's left out there, they have to get a running back. It's kind of like, listen, through process of elimination, you gotta have somebody. Yeah. So it's like, if you wait to the last day if you're in high school and you wait to the weekend before prom, you're not getting the prom queen to go to prom with you. You know what I mean? You got to get that snaggletooth girl in the corner.
All right.
She's your date, I know. Or that snaggletooth guy. It doesn't, just saying, your choices are very limited.
There are consequences and repercussions for your actions.
Am I right? If you wait to the last second, you didn't address it in free agency, you didn't address it in the draft, all the free agent running backs are gone.
Yeah.
All the top running backs in this year's draft are gone. What's left? Running backs that didn't get drafted by anybody?
The crumbs.
Right. And so you're gonna say, or an old retread running back. Okay, so most likely it's an old retread running back. Who's the best of the old retread running backs? Ezekiel Elliott. That's the reason why I've changed my mind. Because I have no other choice.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know, and in this case, if you can't be with the one you love, you got to love the one you're with in this one. So, and that is Ezekiel Elliott.
And that's my 2 cents on that.
I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the effects that have happened after the NFL draft. So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be back in a minute.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and now we're going to be covering the effects of the NFL draft and what that is doing for those players and the team that they went to.
Hey, that was. I
don't know.
I don't know if you practiced that one this time.
No, I didn't.
You
Anyway.
are normally just spread and it's smooth
It's
as
Monday.
butter.
It's Monday.
That was
I'm
kind of
chipper
lumpy.
for
Like
Monday. I'm chipper for Monday, but it's still Monday, you know.
Nah, you've been on point all Monday. It's like you're driving down a road and you just hit a little pothole.
Little speed bump.
This little pothole, spill some with your coffee. Now you're good again.
Okay, so the NFL draft. So we're going to be talking about Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., and Kirk Cousins, and then we'll also be discussing J.J. McCarthy. So our first story is with Caleb Williams. It is credited to, again, Yahoo Sports. So Caleb Williams' rare trait should help him revive the Bears as he did USC. So Caleb Williams has never been shy about the big goals he sets for himself. The Bears rookie quarterback set a goal to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft when he was a boy, a dream he achieved Thursday. The 2022 Heisman Trophy winner has said he wants to surpass Tom Brady's mark of 7 Super Bowl titles and told reporters at the draft in Detroit that he has no small plans for his career in Chicago. To be the greatest and to be able to sit at the table, Williams said of his vision for his Bears career. You put dreams and goals in front of you that you aren't able to reach within a year or two, and you try to go and get them. You have to consistently not get tired with consistency. Being able to be the same guy, being able to go in there and lead the guys and hold them accountable, and they hold me accountable to go and get it. Having those team goals, the only way you can reach them. My last goal is immortality. The only way to reach that is winning championships. That's big for me and something that is the reason I play the game. I'm excited. I guess what he means by immortality
thought he was Thanos or something.
I think he means by, breaking records and that sort of thing. I think that's what he means.
Okay, I thought he found an Infinity Stone or something like that.
It was the way he put it. That was kind of funny. So Williams' openness about his big goals puts a bright spotlight on himself and his teammates. The same was the case during his college career at Oklahoma and USC, but head coach Lincoln Riley saw Williams' approach elevate and energize his teammates. That allowed USC to find quick success with Williams in 2022, and Riley believes the same formula will work in Chicago.
Okay. First off, I just want to comment on one thing. When he said he wants to break Tom Brady's record, slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit, baby.
let's just,
You reached one goal. That's pretty impressive. You were first round pick.
Yes, listen,
you haven't
Dan
even
Marino
started in the NFL though, so I don't,
Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. When I rank the greatest quarterbacks of all time, I got Peyton Manning, I got Tom Brady, I have Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes. This is in no particular order, just off the top of my head, but Johnny Unitas, and Joe Montana. Dan Marino, one of the greatest of all time, never got a Super Bowl ring. Joe Montana did it better than anyone else. I think he has 3 Super Bowl rings. Peyton has 2. It's like Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings than every franchise out there.
Yeah.
And you understand? You're maybe drop that bad boy in reverse and slow your roll just a little bit there. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this draft. Man, I thought before this, I felt like the Bears were a dumpster fire. And then they made some key moves in the offseason that was like, oh my goodness, the Bears are looking good. I thought the Bears looked phenomenal just on the offseason moves. Then they rolled in there and they drafted Caleb Williams and then followed it up with a weapon for Caleb Williams. I feel like the Bears made it. Since the end of the season, the Bears, I feel like, has ran a perfect offseason. I can't see, the Bears have never been great with drafting quarterbacks. But I think Caleb Williams is the perfect guy. He's a guy that has played under the bright lights. Playing in Los Angeles is not an easy thing to do. playing at USC when their level of expectations are so high at USC that failure is not an option. Even when you have, they looked at some of his seasons as failures. 1 loss, 2 loss seasons are outright disappointment. He's been under that spotlight. He knows how to handle the spotlight. Also, having him drafted with a weapon that he's going to be with for the next decade is huge. The Bears did everything right with this pick. I absolutely loved it. And I could see, I see Caleb starting right out the gate. And I could see the Bears really, being a factor within 2 years. Now, with that being said, the division that they're in, I thought everybody was hitting the jackpot. Everyone in that division, I thought, drafted amazingly. I thought Detroit did a great job. I think the Bears did unreal. Green Bay might have had the best draft of them all, and then Minnesota. Minnesota was loaded too. That entire conference did so well. That is going to turn into the toughest conference in football because these guys are going to be a lot closer than people realize. So that's what I took from that one. And we're going to be talking about another team that made a move in that conference as well shortly. So, all right.
Yes. All right. So our next story, you can credit this to, I think it's CBS. I think my autocorrect changed CBS because it was spelled wrong. Anyway, so Atlanta Falcons pick quarterback Michael Penix Jr. in the NFL draft. Current starter Kirk Cousins camp had no idea of the surprise move. The Atlanta Falcons surprised the NFL world on Thursday, selecting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. with the number 8 pick in the 2024 draft. The move got NFL observers talking, given the Falcons' evident defensive needs and that the team recently signed Kirk Cousins to a huge deal to their new starting quarterback. In March, the 36-year-old Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million contract with a $100 million in guarantees with Atlanta, and a move seemingly designed to correct some years of disappointment. However, when the Falcons' first pick this year's draft came, the team decided to add a young player to the quarterback roster in the form of Penix Jr. Before the pick was announced, Cousins' agent Mike McCarthy posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, "About to be shocked." McCartney later told NFL Network insider Mike Garfolo, that the pick was a big surprise to Cousins' camp. "We had no idea this was coming. The truth is the whole league had no idea this was coming," McCartney said. "We've gotten no heads up. Kirk got a call from the Falcons when they were on the clock. That was the first we heard. It never came up in conversation." Speaking to the media after the first round, Falcons general manager and head coach were keen to stress that Cousins was their starting quarterback. They also expressed their excitement in having someone to help them win right now in the former Minnesota Vikings quarterback, while also being able to build for the future with Penix Jr.
Okay. How much was that contract for? The full value of the contract?
For
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins was a $180 million contract with a $100 million in guarantees.
Okay. So he got I have it here. So it's a 4-year, $180 million contract with a $50 million signing bonus. Faith, sign your name for $50 million. that.
You got it, buddy.
Absolutely. Okay. I hate this and I love it all at the exact same time. It's kind of like when we started the show, I had that steak that was so seasoned so perfectly but then it turned out to be a really tough steak to swallow. Well, this is that situation. They didn't have to go this route. First off, there's a lot of people highly upset about this pick. I don't agree with them. And one of the guys, Tommy from our GSMC college football podcast, he's a big Atlanta, Georgia fan. And he didn't like this pick. And Tommy's super sharp, but he wasn't happy about this pick. I love the pick. I love the decision behind it. But sometimes the execution is where I had a problem. You convince Kirk Cousins, hey, I want you to leave the team that you've been with, that's been super loyal to you, that have done all this for you, and I want you to leave them and come to us, and we're gonna pay you well. We're gonna bring you into the family. You're our future. And then a few weeks later, hey, we just drafted our future quarterback. That's blindsiding him. Second thing is, you weren't, so really there's a layer of lack of trust now between Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. If they would have came in, and I'll tell you this, if the Falcons would have went to Kirk Cousins and said, this is the money we're offering, here's the signing bonus, but I want you to know we plan on drafting a quarterback with our first overall pick we have. The first pick we get, we're drafting a quarterback. Kirk Cousins don't sign with the Atlanta Falcons. There's no way he signs with them.
Why would
he? He would have stayed in Minnesota, or he'd have went somewhere else. He didn't have a shortage of places to go to. There's no way he signs with them. So there's a layer of lack of trust there that I have a major problem with. This is not how this is not the way a quality organization runs their team. Second of all, okay, here's the next thing. Faith, what about this? It's the night before the draft. We pick up the phone and say, hey, Kurt, listen, we've signed you. Our plans are to work with you, and you're our quarterback for what we signed. But we have an opportunity to draft a great guy. If we have that opportunity, we're going to take it and have you groom him for the future. That's the way a quality organization, even if you don't tell them before you sign them, the night before, it is a possibility that we may actually go get a quarterback that may sit behind you for a few years. I had no problem with that. But seconds before they're about the pick is in, before the pick is announced, then they call him, hey, just giving you a heads up, we just drafted a quarterback. Sorry about your luck. Is not the way to handle it, especially for a quality guy like Kirk Cousins. He's always been a consummate professional. I didn't like the way they did this. Now, what did I like about this? I don't like the way they handled it, but what I like is they're taking that Green Bay Packer, Kansas City Chiefs approach. Kansas City Chiefs had Alex Smith, who was performing at a very high level, had taken them to the AFC Championship game. They were doing really well. And what did they do? They came to him and said, hey, we're going to trade up to get this guy out of the Big 12 that not that many people were really paying attention to, a guy named Patrick Mahomes. We're going to draft him. We want him to stay behind you for a couple of years. And I want you to groom him. Alex Smith was okay with that. Thank you for coming to me. Thank you for not blindsiding me. Atlanta didn't do it that way. That's the problem I had. Now, the model is Kirk Cousins stepped behind Alex Smith. He learned when it came, not Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes learned behind Alex Smith. When it came time for Alex Smith, meaning for Patrick Mahomes to become the starter, they moved on from Alex Smith. Green Bay, they drafted Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, again, blindsided. This is which caused a lot of problems for them. That's why it's kind of like the model, the Green Bay model. But then Jordan Love learned behind Alex Smith for a couple years. They moved on from Aaron Rodgers, and now they have their quarterback of the future in Jordan Love, and they're set up for the next decade. That's what I do like. I love the fact that they have their quarterback for this year and next year. And if you want the following year, you have him under contract. There's a big that was a big contract, but then you know that you're after the Kirk Cousins years, Penix Jr. becomes the future. So I love that. I think Atlanta is loaded. They could have done with some more defensive help with that first pick. And a lot of people think, and I think it would have been a great move, if you'd have got some help that could have helped them immediately by adding some other players that would have helped them. I think that would have been great. But I love the fact that they're planning for the future and they're secure in where they're at and have their Mr. Right Now and Mr. Future all under the same roof right now. I just don't like the way they did it. So that's my take there.
It was definitely a little shady.
Yes, especially it's kind of like someone says to you, Faith, hey, I want you to go to prom with me. And then the last second, right before the car is supposed to pick you up, change my mind. We're going to take, I'm taking, I know I paid for the dress. I know I paid for your ticket and everything, but I'm going to go get Becky instead. About that, it could have been handled better.
Yep.
So.
Alrighty. Well, for our last story with this segment, we have the Minnesota Vikings draft J.J. McCarthy to be the quarterback of the future. This story is from CBS News. The Minnesota Vikings have chosen J.J. McCarthy to be their franchise quarterback of the future. The Vikings took McCarthy with the 10th pick in the first round of the NFL draft on Thursday. McCarthy coming off a national championship win with Michigan, but he didn't have to do much as a passer to get there. He threw for just 2,991 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions all season. His NFL.com scouting profile notes a lot of intangibles. He is confident and seems to have the ability to take slights and digest it as competitive fuel, but does highlight the concerns about his physical ability. McCarthy should continue to improve as a passer, but he fails to stand out in many of the areas that tend to be predict of top-level success in the NFL, the profile reads. And McCarthy is 21 years old. And then it touches on Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins was with the Vikings.
First off, man, Minnesota is a well-run organization. They recently was rated one of the best organizations for the NFL report cards consistently year after year. They're set up for the future. They have Sam Darnold, which is going to be their quarterback starting out, which means J.J. McCarthy, who I personally think has the biggest upside of anyone in this NFL draft. I had him rated as my number 2 quarterback in this draft. I would have taken him over anyone else in this draft. the big knack on him where people are just like really upset and don't think he's where he should have been picked so high isn't from his performance. His performance has been great. Third in QBR for the year, number 1 for 3rd and 7, third in QBR outside structure, top 10 inside structure, top for under the pressure QBR. What people don't like is that he played for Michigan, a extremely heavy run-based offense. Mm-hmm. Sometimes running the ball 10, 15, 20 times in a row. They don't call on a quarterback to control their future. It's all behind that offensive line and the running game. But when you have an offense like that, you need a quarterback that when is needed, you have the weapon there. And that's what Michigan did. Whenever J.J. McCarthy was called to pull them out, they need a big play on 3rd down. He did it. They're behind. You need someone to rally the team. He did it. Whenever he was called upon to do something, 9 out of 10 times, he didn't just do it. He excelled in it. Mm-hmm. When you start looking at the scouting reports and things of that nature, everyone started noticing, like, wait a minute, this guy is a freak of nature. This guy has all the tools. He's a born leader. He has the size. He has the strength. He can make all the throws. He's that prototypical quarterback that a team would need. They have Sam Darnold, who is going to be, like I said, the starter, gives J.J. McCarthy a chance to kind of sit back a little bit and kind of get used to that NFL speed, and then maybe bring him in week 6, week 8, 10, or 14 later in the season. I love what they're doing. When you look around and you say Aaron Jones at running back, Justin Jefferson at wide receiver, they're set up for the future. I love this organization. They're doing well. The only problem is everyone in this organization, everyone in this division has improved. Mm-hmm. Everyone. The Bears are exponentially improved. As I mentioned, Minnesota's improved. Green Bay just jumped light years ahead, and I think Green Bay is really good. The Detroit Lions just was in the NFC Championship, and they improved. This division is a cage match. I love that you love the Detroit Lions. You don't see a lot of people supporting the Lions. I'm loving it. Fan now. I love that. That is you don't have a lot of people coming out there saying it with their chest. Hey, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I love that about you. But yeah, I really like what has gone down here, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah. J.J. McCarthy. I got him as if I was drafting a quarterback in this draft, J.J. McCarthy would be the guy I would draft. Mm-hmm. You've been a big fan of J.J. McCarthy. Yes, no matter where I'm at, no matter where I'm drafting in this draft, he's number 1 on my draft board. Mm-hmm. That's how highly I think of him. So I like this pick. I like what Minnesota's doing. Very nice. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into our dating horror stories of the week. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC. To access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows. Available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the effects of the NFL draft, and now we're going to be diving into our dating horror story of the week, which we get from Reddit.
I like this one. All right, I'm always ready.
So excited for these. Yep. Okay.
I have to control myself this one because we're a little long today. So.
Yeah. Okay, so nice enough, if a bit awkward. At one point, he remarked that he had expected me to look classier based on my profile pics, even though this was a very casual drinks date and he was wearing a neon orange denim jacket. Anyway, we parted ways, and when I got home, I found this really long message in my inbox. It started with the phrase, "I get the sense I can be honest with you, so in the interest of being direct, let me just say," and ... My first thought was that he was about to tell me that he wasn't interested in pursuing things further. But no, he went on to write that I seemed pleasant enough, but he wasn't sure he found me attractive or well suited to him. However, he explained that's pretty typical for him. It takes him a while to really get to know someone deeply before he knows if he's interested. Therefore, he was proposing that we skip dating and enter into a serious relationship where we would spend several nights a week together. He felt confident that if we got right to it, we could assess if we actually liked each other in a few months. I can relate to feeling attraction as a slow burn that takes time to develop. I really can, but the idea of jumping straight into a serious relationship and spending most of our free time together in hopes that we'd like each other eventually felt like a whole lot of pressure. I declined. Props to him for graciously accepting my answer.
Okay. See, okay, what is wrong with some of these people out here? Listen, I'm not sure I'm really attracted to you at all.
But let's just dive into a serious relationship.
Why don't you move in with me? We just spend all the time, we skip all the formalities. We spend every moment together. We sleep together. We do everything. And then I'll decide if I'm going to kick you off the island or not. Here's the sad thing. And I'm hoping that more people hear this. This would work.
This would work on some people. Yes, it would.
It would work on some people.
Mm-hmm. I know some of those
people. I hate saying that, Faith. But there's so many people out there that want to be in a relationship so bad that this would be, yes, done. Let's do this. And you know what you're doing? You've officially put yourself in the bargain basement bin. You're 75% off on clearance. That's all you're doing to yourself. You're selling yourself out. Here's the thing. You have to, especially as a woman, and I'm not trying to be sexist, I'm just saying, but there's a lot of times you can't discount who you are. The minute you discount who you are, that's who you are. That's what you're thought of. That's the way you're treated, and it is hard to change that.
Yes, it is.
And then you start repeating things. You get into a cycle where you're repeatedly doing the same thing over and over again. Don't sell yourself short.
Believe me, my past relationship, he asked me to be his girlfriend after our second date, and I said yes and jumped into a relationship with somebody, and obviously it didn't work out because he's my ex-boyfriend now. So take it slow. That's what I did with my current boyfriend. We're very happy. Take it slow. Don't jump into relationships.
It's going to sound crazy, but guys will appreciate a girl that takes it slow more than a girl that was willing to take it fast. You know, if it's like, hey, you got to work at it, or it's not easy to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it makes a guy more interested. But just coming in there, listen, hey, we went on one date. I don't even know if I like you. I'm not even sure I think you're cute. But why don't me and you just start doing all the advanced stuff right now?
It's such a bold statement, and so I guess I should credit this guy for being that bold in life, but maybe slow your roll a little bit, dude.
And see, but I can't hate on him, Faith, because he won. It would not. You can't look at him and say, "Hey, you lied to me."
He was honest. He was very honest.
You know, I don't even know if I think you're cute.
Yeah.
Let alone if you're somebody I want to see. But I'm willing to kick the tires a little bit. You know, I'll drive you around the block a few times, and then if I'm not happy with you, I'll toss you aside.
I don't understand why he thought like the best solution was to jump into a serious relationship. Like, dude, you can still go out on dates with her. It's not like because you aren't attracted to her the first time, you can still go out on dates and see if something else changes.
Because it would work. That's the reason why. It's not that you don't say that with your chest the first time ever. You don't be like, you know what? I don't know if I think you're attractive. I don't know if this, and this. You've done this approach before and had success. And what you get out of this
What type of success, though? What's the success?
Faith.
That's the question.
I'm trying to keep this.
Success?
I'm trying to keep this.
Okay, so that's the success. So
yes.
then he is a liar.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you.
So he's not.
I agree
being
with you
honest.
100%. But you're okay. But maybe he's not telling you the truth on everything that he wants, but he's putting it all in your court. I want to sample all the goods. I want you spending all the time. It's kind of like I want it all.
No
and then
I get sentence.
But I want to have this button right here that I can hit the eject button and toss you right on out once I'm done. That's a quick way to get all the best out of someone and toss them aside. No woman should ever agree to these terms. Don't sell yourself short on this one. Oh, yes. No. Faith, I'm telling you, I think he would have, not only do I think it would work, I think he would have high success with it.
Women lower their standards for men too many times. Too many times. I can't even tell you the amount of times I have lowered my standards for men. Don't do that.
It isn't.
You don't get any. You're not successful in any time you lower your standard for somebody. Don't do it. Don't sell yourself.
That was going to be my thing. My question to you is, how many times have you lowered your standards?
Too many.
And then you come back. You fast forward to the future and you look back at that and you're like, why did I do that?
Mm-hmm. Too many times.
Oh my God, what a mistake that was.
Too many times. And I have finally learned the lesson,
No, you
4
don't.
boyfriends in.
Yeah, do not sell yourself short.
Yeah.
That's the key. And I tell you what, if the guy really was into you, saying no to that, listen, no, shows you're not weird. Desperate. But saying yes guarantees that how desperate you are, also guarantees he knows everything he's getting.
Yep.
It's kind of like a little kid saying, hey, Mom, I know it's Christmas Eve, but can I open my Christmas presents now? If you give in, the kid knows everything he's getting. He knows he gets to unwrap everything, tear the paper up, and have a good old time.
Then he's got nothing to open on Christmas, though. So that sucks for you, buddy.
Then you're like, hey, I'm going over grandma's and have Christmas over there then. That's kind of what he's doing. This guy is like, you know what? I've had Christmas with you now it's time to go have Christmas with Becky or somebody else, because that's more than likely what's going to end up happening.
He's eating his cake and he's getting it too.
And like I said, it would work. And that's the sad thing. I wish more people would say no. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm gonna leave that one today. Just a little tidbit today.
I love how like sometimes with these stories they turn into dating advice with Tate and Faith.
I've dated a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been through this whole
probably
thing.
People's relationship counselors.
Hey, listen, I give solid advice because I've dated in my life. I didn't get married until I was 40. I loved being single. I was the guy that was happy being single. If I found the right person, great. I was open to getting married, but I was never gonna settle. Never was gonna settle. Being single was fun and great for me, and until I found the right person, I was never going to settle. So I love dating. And so I have a lot of experience. That sounds kind of bad, but it's true. Also, as a guy who played sports, was in a fraternity, went to college, have a lot of guy friends, and then a lot of female friends, I know the way guys think. I know the way girls think. It's the truth. Yeah. Have I given bad advice yet?
No, but I do have a different perspective since I am a young woman who is
absolutely
not married right now. So hopefully.
No. See, and Faith, this is the reason why we do this, because we're so different. We approach these conversations as an early 20-year-old single woman. I'm a 54-year-old Black man. You're in college. I'm a professional. I'm in my career. There's a lot of things that we are different in. So it's kind of cool. I'll tell you my side, but I totally respect your side. So it's great hearing both of those sides, or hearing like you're talking about, hey, I've made this mistake. And this is what happened to me and why. And people should listen to Faith on that one, because you have experience.
You should listen to me.
You get the guy and the girl perspective on both. So,
all right, we'll tune in next Monday with more dating advice. Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we're going to close out our show. Thank you so much for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.